We start with the macro and the sectorial landscape in the private equity space. So let me begin with you, sir, Dr. Anjan. You represent the seed stage, the early stage investment. If you can talk about what is the Indian private equity landscape as the way you see it?
Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I think the first and biggest excitement for us is, and you just shared the numbers in a sense, the widening and deepening of options in the private equity space. And I particularly liked what happened in the recent budget, the leveling of the long-term capital gains tax. Because earlier, if you competed with anything that was indexed, you couldn't, and now it's a flat 12.5%. So it has brought us on par, particularly for seed stage, early patient capital. It has started to bring us on par with even things like real estate. And in some of the conversations we have, we hear people say, okay, 10 years is long, but 5 saal mein kuch milega kya? So we have now at least become part of the mainstream conversation. It's no longer an outlier on the fringe. I think that is the most important macro trend. The second one is the enabling framework. We are a deep tech fund. So the enabling framework for deep tech has just blossomed. In recent years, I'll give you only one data point. The allocation, budgetary allocation for the government's Science and Technology Ministry last year was 5,800 crores. This year it is 28,000 crores.
That's a jump. That's almost six-fold, five-fold.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. Coming to you, Sharada, if you can throw light, because you've straddled across the growth stage, and now you are running a fund which is an early growth stage. So in your sense, what is the landscape? How is it evolving?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Just to answer this question, I'll just like to highlight some of the few macro trends we see. Currently, we are seeing a lot of consumerism increasing across multiple sectors. And there are multiple reasons for that. One is obviously, if I just take a GDP per capita and as one of the parameters, currently we are like roughly around $2,200, $2,300. But that number is going to double in next 7-8 years. And once you cross a threshold, there's a lot of discretionary spends that starts increasing. And we are seeing that trend, across various consumer assets, whether it is apparels or whether it is travel or whether it is beauty personal care. People are now willing to spend more than what they were spending earlier. The second trend that we come across is the increasing digitization, across. And we come across various numbers and so on, but the fact is, today the digital economy, which was just 7-8% maybe 5 years before, is now more than 20%. And that number will keep increasing, to the next level. And because of that, we are seeing the increase in the consumer spending on the online space. Today, there are roughly 2 or 3 crores who are shopping online, which is not a very big number. But then there are at least 7-8 crores people who are sitting on the edge, who are online but yet not increase their spending online. We see that trend also coming in. Those are the people also who will start sort of coming in the online domain. And that will just increase the overall velocity to a faster pace. And we see in terms of the overall consumer, maybe 25% or 30% of the economy coming to the online space.
So you do see a lot of ventures also coming up in this space which are seeking capital?
And we see that that's a trend basically coming in. We are seeing many more fintech companies emerging. We are seeing many more consumer tech companies emerging. Fintech coming big because of the payments, fintech coming because of the credits and so on. While consumer companies coming with the new strategies, new acquisition plans and so on. So that is changing the landscape. So what used to be traditional consumer maybe 5-7 years before is now maybe 5-7 years from now, there will be larger penetration of the digital channels across.
And Abhishek, you deal with a very specific kind of investing. So how do you see that landscape? And I just touch upon the fact that buyouts have seen the maximum participation in the PE space. Nearly 51% of all transactions are now buyouts. So if you can share your thoughts on the landscape as such.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. So let me first give you a perspective. Private capital from a long-term perspective chases where there are strong fundamentals for the economy. I think India is quite nicely placed. Despite all the
Little closer.
despite all the headwinds that we had seen, India has still grown at 6%, so it's pretty resilient. We have a government which is pro-reform and there is political stability. I think that's something that's very important. So you can start thinking 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from an investment standpoint. Second, one interesting theme that we are seeing is that there is money going in the right directions, whether it is infrastructure building, which takes care of growth down the line as well, or there is money going in fostering businesses that are very India specific, which can do more exports. There is a self-reliance that is kicking in across the globe and India in particular, where there are incentives being rolled out. So one interesting theme that we are seeing is that India is going to become self-sufficient. There will be a lot of opportunities that will emanate as there is money that is provided, incentives that are being provided, whether it is semiconductors, whether it is electronics. India is trying to become self-reliant, and there will be a lot of derivative opportunities that one can look to invest into. Coming to the specific thing about buyouts, see, we focus on 4 sectors, which is consumer, retail, healthcare, pharma, financial services, and business services. Now, buyout in any geography has evolved over a period of time. Today, it is 50% of the global private equity pool. And some of the biggest names like Blackstone, KKR, Carlyle, they are all buyout-oriented funds. So Samara Capital has been one of the first homegrown buyout funds in the country. And we have carefully chosen these 4 sectors because we believe that domestic consumption is something that is a multi-decade growth story, as was pointed out by Sharad as well. There is an inflection point for per capita, and there is bound to be more consumption. So this is one theme, which is because of awareness, affordability, and access, there will be a lot of products and services that will get consumed more and more. And if you are playing that theme, you cannot go wrong. Second is unorganized to organized shift that we are seeing because of formalization of the Indian economy. And it is again an irreversible shift. Consumers are demanding it. Industries have to become far more efficient than what they were. And that is why there is a lot of consolidation opportunities, which is what we do as buyout sometimes. We call it as roll-up plays. And there are opportunities where there is a generational shift that may be happening. People are no longer emotional about their business. They are willing to let go. There could be carve-out situations, monetization-related aspects, and that's where role of a buyout fund comes into play. So we've seen over the last 15 years, we've been operating in India. At that point of time, the deal flow was about 10% of the total private equity. Today, as you mentioned, it has moved towards 50%, and perhaps it may also increase further. So it's a good situation to be in from a macro standpoint, where both fundamentals of where the India is poised and the companies thereby, and there is more and more capital that would be required to do buyout opportunities.
Great. You said affordability, access, and awareness. Wow. I think that stands true for private equity as an asset class as well, right? Yeah.
The example that we give is on the healthcare side.
Okay.
Because what we are seeing is that people were not even aware that they can do a particular diagnostic test and get themselves tested for certain aspects. Then it's a problem of affordability. So awareness has obviously increased because of multiple things. Affordability because of insurance, it got solved. And then there is access, which is your specialty hospitals are available across.
Yes.